I want to talk about something that none of you guys are probably really thinking about and can make or break your presentation. Can make or break whether you win or lose. You can have one of the greatest ideas and get up in front of somebody and not have that organized. I mean, I've seen countless hackathons where people will code right up until the last minute, and then they sort of run up to the front of the room, carrying, a monitor, a laptop that's open flat, a bunch of things like that, and try and get that presentation done. Now, I understand in this room, we all know what really matters is the end product that you're working on. Right? That's absolutely true. And this isn't going to be your only hackathon. It probably isn't your first. So I want to just do a handful of things that we're using in the Call for Code Day. This is a workshop and it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just to get you thinking about how are you going to talk about what it is you're presenting to judges. All right? This is something that should work everywhere you are. And the first one is telling a story. Right? This is one of the hardest things for people to do. You tend to talk about your project, right? You tend to talk about it in terms of code. You tend to, talk about the sort of, this is what it is. So what we're trying to do is, instead of what your code is, you want a user-centered story. Right? This is sort of the problem. If it's a problem you lived through, it's a problem somebody you know lived through, or a problem that happened because your technology didn't exist, absolutely, this is where you want to start with, once upon a time, I'm being recorded, right? Once upon a time, things went to heck in Puerto Rico. Okay? And you want to focus on really the what we have is what, why, and how. What's the problem you're solving? The more succinct that is, the easier it is for someone to see what it is you're doing, even if you're not all the way done. Right? But if you don't tell me in the beginning what you're trying to create, then I can get lost very easily, particularly if you end up deep in your code accidentally. Right? Why is it important? Why is the problem that you're working on, or why is your solution different enough, important enough? And that's the why and the why, right? What's innovative about it? Now, innovative may simply be that you've got it done and nobody else has. I mean, in the sense that there are good ideas, as we all know, litter the ground. Particularly in technology, people are like, well, we could do this, or we could do that, and then we get busy on the next project. So the why it's innovative, why it's going to make users happy, what the difference is very important. Okay? Now, this is a don't, and I get that this is hard to do, but don't stop and start. Don't go, oh, wait a minute, and now I've got to move over. Spend a few moments to learn how to quick key between a slide and an actual piece of code or a running system if you have a chance, right? If you do have to switch back and forth, even having other people on your team talk for a moment while you're doing it can make a huge difference, right? It's the smoothness. And I don't know how many times you've seen, but one of my favorites is watching it's the dead air while somebody tries to fix something real time, right? We're all like, is he going to talk while he's fixing it? Is this the end? Is he fainted? So if you are caught in a situation, by the way, this is sort of, pro tip, and please, all of the IBMers in here are presenters as part of their job, so please ask us, because pro tip is, if you're trying to fix something and it has to be fixed, talk us through it, just so we're not like, watching you typing furiously at something or thinking about it. So work not to have that jittery, utilize other members. And although it eats into your time, part of that user-centered story, business case isn't as applicable in these things, but it is make your case. You're sort of the lawyers of your project. It's the Perry Mason, Did you or did you not lose power? Then what do we do with that? Okay? You are the expert. You are the expert on what you guys wrote. Even if there may be someone who's a better coder who understands something more about a lot of the technology, things like that, you're the expert. So you want to work to engage the audience. Now, we're packing a lot into what may be 3 to 5 minutes, but it really is, that confidence level. Know that you've been working on this thing for days. There are no better experts than those of you who are talking about. If you can, create a visual component to this, talk to somebody, get some help with someone. By visual component, I mean, it's kind of hard if you're building, middleware gateways to have a sexy piece of code for that. But it may make all the difference in the world to have the visual component be a one-slide picture, right? And somebody gets, oh, I get it. These 2 points would not be talking if it wasn't for that jagged little lightning line between the 2 of them. That's the magic. That's the wow, right, that we can do. This is a tough one. Reading slides. I mean, we've all seen that presentation, and it's not even so much as if you say the same thing, right? But if I say to you right now as I'm talking, don't read, particularly don't read command lines. We probably don't care, unless it's vital, and don't read the slide. That's me saying, read the words off the slide or the command line interface. So in other words, you can say the exact thing, but be looking out here. It also shows confidence and control of your topic. Even if you're saying essentially the same thing because it really is a vital piece of information, have it be out here with you, out here with the crowd, as opposed to where it is. Keeping track of time. It's almost an impossible ask for today, and it's worth just testing yourself. How many times have you, because you spent a little bit too much time talking about a really cool piece of code that you're in love with, but that probably nobody in the crowd can really see from back there online, is you lose a lot of time. And then when it comes to the grand reveal, right, the judges are like, oh, thank you, that's, nobody saw it run. So in fact, it isn't on this slide set, but time matters so much that in the Wolfpack, we have a phrase we stole from a great manager, Linda Snow, who teaches people how to present in our group. She calls it wow 'em and how 'em, right? I call it like a magic trick, right? Run your app, that's like the magic trick, right? It's doing something. Show them some piece, and then it's like being a magician. Hey, I just showed you that great trick. Now I'm going to show you how you do the trick at home, kids, right? And it was like, oh, this is, I want to see that part, right? So use it wisely. They say prioritize time for demos over slides. Absolutely rehearse. Absolutely, we don't expect that today. But if you can fit some in, if you can start now as you're coming down the wire, thinking about what it is you would say, do that. And if all else fails, what you did is probably one of the most important things, because a judge can come talk to you later. Somebody can ask you a question. So if you can wow them first, do that presentation first, and then give them a little background information on it. So it's, tell them what you're going to tell them, right? That create the story in the beginning, right? Life went to heck. What I did is I created XYZ, and my team, we built this. Here, let me show it to you, right? Then I want to look at the code. Old trick we talk about at IBM is nobody cares about your company until they care about your problem. If I come in here and show you some of the most bang-up accounting software you've ever seen, you're probably really not going to hear all the details about how IBM made it. Just the wrong audience. So make sure when you're looking at this stuff, when you prioritize it, that you have a flow that makes sense to an audience. Ask why every time. Why am I saying this? Why is this slide up here? Why am I showing the command window? We're mostly developers here. I play one on TV. So I'm going to get if you open the command line window and you type something, that you open the command line window and you type something. You don't need to tell me the command. You just need to flow through it. Show what works. Okay? It's your demonstration should be aimed towards highlighting the technology, highlighting what happened. This thing about the don'ts, there's a don't in here that I actually I don't agree 100% with, which is this idea of don't talk about the technical problems you faced if you don't find a solution. Oftentimes the best thing that comes out of this is wherever you got stopped, because someone will then hear it and see it, and collaboration will happen to move forward with that. So in the end, we want to see everything you have that works. We want to hear about what problems you faced or what you learned about it that didn't work, and that's fine. Any working code, anything you can describe, how the technology, some particular technology you used enabled it. And I don't care if it's talking about someone else's library that you used, something like that, that you're passing on. Because in the end, it's when Derek and I were talking in the beginning, this is real stuff. Something comes out of this that, we start implementing and something happens this year or next year, it may be your piece of code, that ends up saving people's lives, all right? And that's a pretty good feeling. So that's all I wanted to run through, is to give you guys a sense of, I want you to be focused on what it is you've done. I want you to be focused on a story, a wow of what that looks like, and then tell us the how. Most everybody in here are developers. We know how you did it. You coded for 3 days without sleeping. Okay, so we probably aren't gonna, ding you for not having, heavily documented code. I want to pause there because I said I know you guys are down to the minute, down to the wire on this stuff. Is there any particular questions? Anything I've said that didn't make sense? Yeah, but suggestion, you can either yell it out now, or as I said, all the IBMers in here are trained to be presenters at some level. A few of us are, okay, I think. But I just want to make sure that you look at this, and I'm going to have, I saw several of you taking pictures. It always flatters the presenter when you take pictures of their slides. This is actually a PDF that I'm going through, so I'm going to make sure that Engine 4 has it when we start handing it out. This is a short version of a longer criteria that we have for the call for code that we're going to be doing. There's going to be another hackathon here Friday, August 3rd, so about 5 weeks from now, something like that. Friday, August 3rd, Saturday, August 4th. And we're going to be focusing, the rules are very different because we're actually trying to get to a real finish line. So these sorts of rules are the kinds of rules that we want to help you, have your product level up. But if you're working on something now, we don't have an 80% requirement, right? What we want is the best solution you have. So on August 3rd and 4th, you can bring what you have here. The only thing we want to see is that it's IBM technology or open source code. We'll help you convert to those things if you haven't. And then on the 3rd and 4th, we're going to level you up, and you have another 4 weeks to turn something in. And if it motivates you a little, I mean, there's going to be a big show and a center stage and all that. And I think there's something like 200 grand on the line. So, I know most of you are independently wealthy, Bitcoin millionaires, but just in case you need money, we've got IBM talking about things like, venture capitalists are going to want to see this stuff, things like that. So with that, questions and comments, there are a bunch of us here to take them, and I really appreciate your time first thing in the morning, because I want to do what I can to make some of the best looking work I've seen look the best it can. Thank you very much.